Are we getting this show on the road, or are we getting this show on the road? Let me just load up. I mean, the stream loaded up, but I'm going to check if it's working. Just made a video go public as well. Yeah. Yep, okay, so that works. The stream is working, voice is working, my face is working. Yeah, we're still on the tipping page. Yeah, we're meant to be off the tipping page. But if you want a reminder, these are my tips for the round. In fact, based on these tips, I should start out a predictor. So I got Lions by 14, right? Let's get that out of the way. Okay, Lions by 14. Okay, I think Geelong will beat Sydney. I'm going to go by 12 points. All right, Dogs to beat Freo by 22. Adelaide to beat North by 17. Collingwood to beat Gold Coast by 3. Essendon to beat Port Adelaide by 4. Alright. Carlton to beat Hawthorn by 46. Which actually pushes them a little bit early to 12. Melbourne to beat the GWS Giants by 33. St Kilda to beat West Coast by 32. So yeah, that is the from the last video. So yeah, now we got the rest of the ladder predictor from round 17 onwards. Richmond v Sydney is a huge game. This could be basically a finals game for who gets to fight for the finals, pretty much. Who gets a small chance of getting into the finals. Loser is 100% gone. I'm going to go Tigers by 1. I predict this to be a very close game. A very interesting game. An absolute spectacle, I reckon. Bulldogs against Collingwood. Unfortunately, the Magpies in a close one. The Lions against the Eagles. It's just this question of what the margin is. But it's good that the Lions have this game because they can really get their percentage up. I'm going to go by 60. I know I can go by more, but I'm going by 60. But I could go by more, actually. Hitting a 30. I love how you can do the exact margin. You know, that's elite. All right, we're going for a big victory. Okay, yeah, there you go. That puts them in second actually, which is quite mad. Giants, unfortunately, I think will beat Hawthorn. I'm going to go by 11 points because I think we could run them close. Saints v Melbourne. Interesting game. I think the D's by 7. St Kilda still 5th though, even with those losses. Port Adelaide against Gold Coast. 25 point Port Adelaide victory, I reckon. Geelong against North Melbourne. What margin am I saying? 5 goals. 5 goals, I reckon. Essendon Adelaide. You know what, right? Adelaide almost beat the Magpies at the MCG. So I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to say Adelaide win. Actually, it's not even at the MCG, it's at Docklands. But I'm still going to go for an Adelaide win, alright? I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to say it with chest. At Marvel Stadium, the Crows will beat the Dons by 10. Freo Carlton will be interesting. This seems like a playoff as well. Who gets a potential battle for the final spot? I'm going to go by Freo by 19. Sydney to beat the Western Bulldogs by 9. Bet you didn't see that one coming. I've twisted and turned the storyline. Melbourne, I think, will beat the Lions. The Lions at the MCG are quite abysmal. And against Melbourne, I think they will lose by a little bit of a margin, but not too high a margin. Collingwood will beat Freo, I reckon. Although Freo could win there, you never know. I'm going by Collingwood by 3 goals. Gold Coast v St Kilda. Gold Coast to win by 19. Carlton to lose to Port Adelaide by 29. Does that seem a bit harsh? Maybe, but I think that could definitely happen. Geelong, I think, will beat Essendon, especially at GMHBA. I'm going to go by 20, because Essendon, I think, will run them fairly close, but not close enough. Adelaide to beat the Giants by 16. North Melbourne. Yes, Hawthorn. Well, we're going to beat them again. It's going to happen, yeah? 15 points. Yes, no spoon for us. It won't happen to us anyway, because West Coast are that bad. Speaking of West Coast, here they are. To lose by 45 points to Richmond. Actually, yeah, that's a bit harsh. At home, it's a little bit. You know what? We'll go for a modest 28. Yes, that's so much better. Essendon v Western Bulldogs. Damn. If my other predictions go right, those positions are interesting. Also bring St Kilda in the mix because they're finally dropping down, based on my predictions anyway. This could be anything. Could be anything. I'll go Essendon by a goal. Richmond Hawthorn, unfortunately, I don't think about it as bad as last year, but I think they'll still beat us. 39 points, I reckon. Carlton West Coast. Carlton to win by 60. Yes, I think 60 is fair. I think 60 is fair. Brisbane Geelong at the Gabba. Brisbane at the Gabba have been very good this season. Dogs have a good record against Dons, like 8 or 9 games, but you see, it's possible. Essendon won one of them, so it's possible, and it can happen. Well, we shall see. Brisbane, I think, will win this by 17. Port Adelaide Collingwood. This is the game I'm really excited for. Like, this is going to be great. I'm kind of hoping that Port Adelaide keep the winning streak going into that, because it could be a crazy game, or it could be a bad game, like round 2. But we'll see. I think Port Adelaide at the Oval will beat them, making a statement before finals footy. I'll go by 7 points. The Magpies losing a close game for once, although Port Adelaide are also very good at close games as well. So, again, very interesting game. Freo Sydney. Freo by 16, I reckon. I think Sydney will try, but ultimately fail. Gold Coast, I think, will beat the Giants by 18. Don't know if that's a risk, but we'll do it. They are better. Gold Coast are better, but I mean, like, away at Manuka, I think the Giants, they'll be fairly strong. But I think Gold Coast can do it by 3 goals. Melbourne Adelaide. Melbourne by 22. I'm not giving many away teams a chance. I'm going to say North to beat St Kilda. I'm sorry, Saints fans, I've sort of like stiffed you up in this video, but I genuinely think, and like the games I've put you to lose, I think you can lose them. I genuinely think North Melbourne, one of their few wins, can be St Kilda. I genuinely think that can happen. So I'm going for it. North by 4. Collingwood Carlton. Yeah, Collingwood are going to smash them. 4 goals, I reckon. Somehow Giants have lost 9 in a row at Manuka. That gives me more confidence that Gold Coast will beat them. Geelong v Freo. Geelong by... No, that's too harsh. 27's too harsh. We'll go 23. Western Bulldogs against GWS. I reckon Dogs by 31. The Q Clash. A bit more significance to the Q Clash now, unlike before. I'm going to go for a Gold Coast victory. Yes, Gold Coast by 9. And that puts them in 9th. How poetic. Essendon Sydney. These two have had many classic games over the years. Will it be different this time round? I think they'll have another classic game. I think it's very much possible. But I'm going to go Essendon to win by less than a goal. By 5 points. Adelaide Showdown. So Port Adelaide have got Collingwood and Crows 2 in a row. That's going to be interesting. Adelaide, the home team, this time round. I do love the Adelaide Showdown. It's a very interesting game. I reckon Port win this one. Port by 3 points. I reckon this will be a very good and very close game. Hawthorn v St Kilda. Normally we don't have confidence, but we did beat them this season, which is pretty damn good. But this time I think they'll get their revenge. Unfortunately for us. That puts them in 8th. Richmond v Melbourne. I think Melbourne to win by 10. I predict a close game in that one as well. The playoff. I think North will be fine by then anyway. I don't think West Coast will overtake them, especially with their percentage. It's so bad, West Coast. But I do think North will beat them. I think North will beat them by 13 points. Alright, Western Bulldogs v Richmond. Looking at that, that's very interesting, isn't it? It's very interesting. I'm going to go with the Tigers. They would be underdogs in this game, I think. But I'm going to go Tigers by 2 goals. And that puts them in 7th. That's actually quite mad. That's mad how much of a difference that makes in hindsight. Essendon v West Coast. I'm thinking about the margin, and I'm thinking, how far do I go? We'll go 65. I know we can go higher, but we'll go 65. Needs to be harsher on West Coast. They'll lose 100 points 2 more times at least. Yeah, you're probably right. Let's go manual. 25. 135. You happy now? You happy now, my friend? You got what you wanted, Billy. Although, yeah, to be honest, like, it's not really ridiculous to predict that because West Coast are that bad. So, you know what? Fair enough. Fair enough. It also puts Essendon strongly in 5th. Adelaide against Gold Coast. Adelaide by 14, I reckon. Collingwood will beat Hawthorn by like 60. I have no confidence for this game. 61 points. Geelong Port Adelaide. Ooh, that's very interesting. All right, Geelong by 6. Yes, I predict Port Adelaide to go there and have a good game, but lose. Because Geelong over there are fairly good. They are beatable there. They have lost there. But I think they'll do well in that stadium. Because I think they'll need to win for the finals. And, you know, they're already good in that stadium anyway, regardless of context. But I feel like they will be very confident at home. And I think they'll be determined because they're still in danger of not making the finals. The Giants against Sydney. The Giants won this last time. I predict Sydney to get their revenge. Also in a close game. North Melbourne v Melbourne. Melbourne by 15. I predict a closer game than people think. St Kilda v Carlton. St Kilda by 13. Maybe closer, maybe I'm being nice to Carlton there, but I reckon that could be a realistic result. Fremantle, Brisbane, at Optus. This is a huge game for Freo. They need to win, really. And I think they will win by 16. I'm really screwing the Dogs a lot. I am screwing the Dogs a lot. I don't mean to. I like the Dogs quite a lot, actually. I like Freo a lot, and they're 12. But, yeah, this is the ladder I've got at the moment. I've got Geelong in 5th. I'm a bloody Hawks fan. What am I doing? Oh, yeah, here's Geelong. Here they will lose to Collingwood. North Melbourne, Essendon. Essendon to win, I reckon. Essendon by 26. Essendon by 26. I always get the margins, so like I never consider like, you know, high margins enough, which is a problem because I always get the ladder predictions wrong, partly because of the margins. Sydney v Gold Coast. You know what? Gold Coast have won there like 2-3 times now, so it's doable. Gold Coast by 11. Okay. Brisbane v Adelaide. Brisbane by 23. Melbourne v Carlton. Carlton v Melbourne, whichever way you want to put it. Melbourne in another close game. They won by 7 last year, I think, right? I was at that game in round 21 or 22. It was round 22, actually. So, yeah. Gold Coast to beat SCG. Yeah, that's what I've gone for. It has happened before, so it's a bit like the Giants winning at GMHBA. It's happened before, so that's happened like 3 times, I think, hasn't it? So is Gold Coast beating Sydney. The Western Derby. We're going to see hands. 50 points. Maybe a bit nice to West Coast, but 50 points. Western Bulldogs beat Hawthorn by 22. I'm being nice to Hawthorn, but I'm a Hawthorn fan, so you can let me off. Ooh. Do I predict a draw? Do I go and be like, oh, because the Saints have drawn many games before, so have Richmond Tigers. This could be the draw. I mean, we've had a draw already, Carlton Richmond, but this could be the second. You know what? I have never predicted a draw. I have never predicted a draw in Squiggle. I have never done it, so I'm doing it. Draw. Damn. Even with a draw, both teams move up a couple of positions. That's pretty interesting. And we've still got 2 rounds left after this round. Port Adelaide GWS. Port Adelaide, I think, by 5 goals. Collingwood to beat Brisbane, also by 5 goals. Richmond to beat North Melbourne, also by 5 goals. Yes, I'm going in. I'm going in. I think Gold Coast will beat them, but I'm trying to think of the margin. 15. And that puts the Suns in 8th. Have I given West Coast a win yet? No, I haven't. I haven't given West Coast a win yet. I don't trust them at all. 101. Oh, you can... What? You can just do this? Hey, that's funny. How far can you go? You can't go to 200. The screen's not wide enough. That's funny. You can just do that. That's funny. It just goes, and then you just lose position there. I didn't even notice you could do that. Even if it's glitch, I've done it on purpose. Anyway, where was I? Essendon to win here, but I predict a close game. St Kilda v Geelong, huge game. I'm going to take a risk. Is it a risk? Who knows? But I'm going to take it. Saints to beat Geelong. It's crazy how much a little bit changes the positions. I love watching the ladder go. Even though it's probably better if I don't look at it at all. I get a more accurate result of what I think. Click menu, you can do anything. Yeah, I know. I've done that a couple of times with West Coast games just to give them like 100-point margins. Actually gave them just 1 actually. The highest score you can put on Squiggle is the highest score in AFL. I see. Adelaide, Sydney. Hawks to win at least 8 games. I appreciate your confidence in us. I really do. I appreciate your confidence in us, but I don't see it. I would love to see it, though. I would love to see it. If we won 8 games, oh my word. After some of the games we've had this season, especially today. Adelaide, Sydney. Adelaide to win, I think, by 14. That puts Adelaide in 8th, pushes a couple teams out. Western Bulldogs to beat West Coast. Yeah, this is the other 100-point victory. 132. 132, yes. Melbourne Hawthorn. Unfortunately. Damn, that I've somehow slipped Port Adelaide down to 3rd. I don't know how I've done that. Speaking of Port Adelaide, I think they will be 3-0 in Perth, but by a small margin. And that slips Melbourne right back down. We're in the last round now. Hello, Luke. How you doing? Essendon 5th. Yeah, I know. They're still 5th, despite what I predicted just now. Brisbane, I think, will beat St Kilda. 21 points I'll go for. Still 4th. So the top 4 has remained the same so far, but I've reshuffled the remaining spaces. Just Adelaide. I think I've put Adelaide down and Geelong up. And changed the order. I think that's what I've done. So I've not really changed much in the ladder. Carlton to win this by 20, I reckon. Out of final contention by now anyway. Essendon Collingwood in the last round. This could be interesting. 70 points is a bit harsh against my own team. Unfortunately, I think it could happen. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. What I think of the Hawthorn result today? Oh boy, we looked alright first half, but got smashed in the end. It's just like the Geelong game, except not as bad. The thing is, Collingwood beat Essendon more often, even when it's close. Essendon probably have the best chance of doing it here. Even if they're not fifth, I think that'll be interesting. I'm sticking where the mouse is. Collingwood by 10, but that keeps Essendon in fifth. I think it keeps no one's catching them. So I've got Essendon in fifth. And that's confirmed. Completely confirmed. Geelong, I think, will beat the Western Bulldogs. But because it's the last round, it's going to be high stakes. And both teams 7th and 8th. Close. 8 points. That puts Geelong in 6th. Hawthorn Freo. We can do this, guys! Freo can play the MCG. They can do it. And well, where does a win? Well, let me put them winning. Let me see what happens. Okay, it doesn't change much, but I think we'll beat them. I was gonna go for that anyway. Hawthorn by a goal. Yes, 6 wins. Beat that. Richmond will make top 4. At least they're not West Coast. Yeah, that's true. Richmond top 4. I'm not sure about that. I think they can make the 8, but I don't think they make top 4. I think that's a bit of a stretch. I feel like Collingwood and Port Adelaide will be 100% there. I think Melbourne will make it as well. So, like, if anyone misses out as Brisbane, I just don't see Brisbane getting that high up, if I'm being honest. North Melbourne, Gold Coast. Would be funny if North won this, wouldn't it? I'm going Gold Coast by 13. I've got Gold Coast in the 8th. It's truly messed up now, guys. I have zero faith that Gold Coast will do that. But based on my predictions, it could happen. Sydney, Melbourne, Melbourne by 9, I reckon. So I've got Port Adelaide. Okay, never mind. I was going to say I got Port Adelaide 3rd, but actually I think they'll beat Richmond by 4 goals, finishing in style, getting that top 2 finish, setting up a home game against Melbourne. West Coast Adelaide. Oh boy. I'll go for a modest 40 points. Eagles Premiership, lock it in. The Premiership of what, mate? What do you mean? So, the top 4 hasn't really changed. I've just switched 3rd and 4th. And 3 of the rest are still... I mean, Geelong are currently 9th, aren't they? Wait, hang on. Let me just get the current ladder up. So then... Well, what's going on? Okay. I've moved it too fast. Yeah, so I've got St Kilda. I got St Kilda missing out, but I got Essendon and Adelaide making it. I've got the Dogs slipping out. I've got 9th and 10th slipping in. Okay. Again, I have no faith in Gold Coast, but I've got them in 8th right now. So anything can happen, I guess. I know I'm harsh on Gold Coast. I know they're better than I give them credit for, but I just can't see them in the 8. I can't see it, but my predictions have made it possible. My apologies to Saints, Dogs, and Freo fans. I like you, all 3 teams, but yeah, I want to see Saints win a flag at some point. It would be amazing to see them break their drought, but yeah, for some reason I've got them 9th. I've got also Richmond fans as well. I got them missing out. These 2 aren't really a surprise, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, either way, some team is going to miss out. So, at least a couple good teams will miss out. So it's going to be interesting. I squeezed out the Dogs for the Suns. Yeah, that's a big anomaly. Gold Coast making it over the Saints, the Dogs, the Tigers, and Freo. Ugh. I feel like the top 7 could make it, though. I mean, I say could. 4 of them will. But I mean, like, that top 7 being in the 8, that's very much doable. That's very much doable. So we shall see. But, like, I feel like come the end of the season, we could have everyone from here to here battling for these 4 positions. So we could have a great end to the season. Bad news, early Essendon Gold Coast will have tickets available. You have 2 Adelaide home games. Yeah. That would be quite something. Gold Coast for the first final series. Yeah, it would be amazing to see Saints mid-season drop off again. Yep. Maybe they'll pick it up in. Maybe it won't end like my predictions will, but we'll see. Right, Collingwood, Brisbane. Collingwood. It's not just because they're up there, but MCG, the Lions. It's not just giving them advantage. It's just the Lions not playing well there. They kind of need the gather. So I'll go for Collingwood there. Essendon to eliminate Gold Coast. So they're, it'll be short-lived. Their joy will be short-lived. But they'll be happy with a finals game, even if they lost. I mean, they wouldn't be happy to lose, but I think they'll be looking back on that season and thinking, we did a good job. Can you reset auto tip on Squiggle? I have no idea. Good day, AFL Legend. How you doing? I really want to have Adelaide beating Geelong. I feel like it's possible too. I go with Port. The times they finished second recently, they won their qualifying final both times. Lost the prelim. Could that be repeated? Go on then. That's gonna get a bit of I apologize, Mr. Cat. I'm just, I'm testing the waters, but I feel like Adelaide could win a final at home, depending on who they play. Suns will beat Essendon. They could. So yeah, this is just for fun. This is based off this ladder, so there's not much else to say really. I'm giving Brisbane the Gabba advantage. They've been good at the Gabba this season. Improved actually. Those are very boring. I've given every home team to win. Every single home team. Collingwood Melbourne is quite the prelim though. That's quite the prelim. Alright, well, I mean, my flag prediction was Brisbane at the start of the season. But that's going to change. I had Brisbane beating Collingwood in the grand final at the start of the season, right? This time, I have Collingwood beating Brisbane in the grand final. The team I dislike wins the flag based on my predictions. I hope this is wrong. Please be wrong. It's funny though, like at the start of the season I predicted Collingwood Minor Premiers, Brisbane Premiers. I've gone against that now. I mean, Collingwood Minor Premiers, I got that. Except I got the final going differently. Essendon to win a final for the first time in 19 years. Yes! They're going to do it! Believe! To be fair, they'll be playing against a team that has never made the finals. Could have Lions, Suns, Adelaide, Port semi-finals. Can you imagine? I fly to Melbourne for finals and every final's not in Melbourne? Can you imagine? When was the last time that happened? They're all my money on Collingwood for the flag. Probably not good odds, right? I don't think you'd return much because they'd be favourites basically. Apart from, I mean, Port Adelaide would be up there as well, favourites. Port is Brisbane prelim. One team can't choke. Exactly, exactly. That could be better. I don't have faith in Brisbane winning the MCG. That's the main reason. I had faith before. I don't have it now. But this would be Port Adelaide can play the MCG, so this is more, this is more, you know, this is nicer. This is a nicer scenario, I reckon. Yeah, you get 3-1 odds. Actually, that's actually not too bad, actually, in fairness. But for me, it's too unpredictable. I just Geelong have given me trust issues. All right, Mr. Cat will know. There's been like at least 2 seasons since like 2018 where Geelong were first and lost on straight sets. Not on straight sets, but lost in the finals. They were first, didn't do well in the finals. They finally got it right last year. They got it perfectly right last year. But before that, there was a couple seasons where they were minor premiers. They looked brilliant, and then didn't do well in the finals. All right, I have trust issues when it comes to AFL finals because of Geelong, because of Geelong. But yeah, I don't know, I don't know. So we shall see. If Lions lose to Hawks at MCG, then hell no, they are not beating Collingwood there. How can Port play the MCG? They played there like once and lost to Pies 100 points. Yeah, look, in previous seasons they've done all right there. What trust is you want Collingwood to lose? That's why you bet on them. Insurance? Nah, that for me that's just, you know, potentially losing money. Melbourne to beat Collingwood by 60 points in the prelim. Oh wow, Collingwood Melbourne is the most likely grand final to be a thriller. Possibly, yeah. You think Port Adelaide improve, so you doubt they'll lose that badly again at the G. Well, you never know. You never know. But yeah, that was my ladder predictor. I feel like the top 7 looks good. But yeah, with the teams missing out and Gold Coast making it, that's very interesting as a scenario. I think 13th down looks good as well. I think 13th, 14th, 15th, the rest of the ladder looks fine. It's just that 8 to 12 area that looks a bit dodgy to me. Actually, no, 8th to 10th. 8th to 10th. The Tigers missing out is realistic. Freo missing out is realistic. I mean, I guess anything is realistic, but I think 8th to 10th looks like the most intriguing part of the ladder predictor. So, yeah. Melbourne either smash teams in the prelim or get smashed. So, not a close game then. Carlton will play finals. I'm not sure about that one, Chief. I'm really not. You have a lot of faith there. You have a lot of faith there. Have AFL uploaded the... They have not. Just the last 2 minutes. I haven't watched it, by the way. I skipped to the end. Like the last 2 seconds. Apparently there was a score review. So I was looking for the score review. I'm just like, oh, it's not the last 2 minutes. They've not uploaded the highlights. How dare you! I'm going to react to it right now. They usually wait a day, right? So Tigers and Carlton have 99.9% and they drew in round 1. Oh, that was Freo. Stop trying to hide Carlton support with fake... I support Hawthorn. These allegations are wrong. Absolutely wrong. Okay, these allegations are very wrong. How dare you do this to me? West Coast still have a 0.0% chance to play finals. Yeah, about that. About that. So, yeah, that is it. Hope you enjoyed the stream. I sent in a community post, but the reason I couldn't watch any games this week because of work. I did a shift 4 hours early on Thursday. On Friday, I did 12 hours, which also involved starting 4 hours early. And on Saturday, I did 4 hours starting in the morning. It was overtime. So I was actually going to say, can I stay the rest of the day? They're just like, no, yeah, there's not much to do. So, yeah, so that's why I couldn't stream. I actually woke up at like during the third quarter with Hawthorn. So I could have watched the second half of that, but I was just like, we're losing? Okay, never mind. West Coast could have played finals if the other 17 clubs were kicked out of drug cheating. if GWS missed finals, can't imagine how much they would be losing to West Coast. Yeah. It annoys me that Hawthorn could have beaten GWS and Adelaide. Anyway, yeah, this is your boy Davidoff. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a good day and goodbye.